Hi. One of the most frequent questions that I get from you guys is, how do I make sure that this one will help me to speak English? There are some main points to look out for, so let me share them with you and you'll take it from here. First of all, start from asking yourself a question. What is it that you want to learn? Do you want to learn to speak English, or do you want to learn theory which will allow you to take a test? If you want to be good at taking tests, then quite frankly, most of the applications, courses and classes are for you. They will do the job. They will all teach you how to play with grammar on paper, and they will give you lists of vocab to learn by heart, either by self-memorization or by swiping in an app. In the end, you will know some words and you will be able to take a test. But if you want to learn to speak English and feel comfortable to communicate with others, then almost none of the available courses or apps are suitable because they do not teach you to communicate. If you want to learn to speak English, here's a list to keep in mind when you are choosing your course. Starting from the program itself. So the program needs to be a step-by-step system that teaches you to communicate. What do I mean by a step-by-step system? I mean that in every single week of your education, you need to have very specific tasks that allow you to practice through speaking, and they give you a specific communicational outcome for every single week. An example of such an outcome would be, for example, you will be able to tell a story in a present tense using 30 most common verbs, or by the end of this particular week, you will be able to have a simple conversation with another person using statement and question structures. So these are very specific points. What's important here is that the system or program that you use gives you mostly, if not only, ability to speak while creating your own sentences every day, and that every lesson is a continuation of the previous lesson and builds up the structures one structure at a time. This is the only way that you will be able to go through the process of learning and learn to communicate. Point 2, vocabulary learning. So if you are asked to memorize or swipe by naming pictures or doing anything similar to that, you are not learning to communicate. You are learning to memorize and to swipe, but no amount of swiping or memorization will allow you to communicate. It doesn't do this job. Point 3, grammar exercises. If you're asked to fill in the blanks or to change the order of the words or to apply grammar theories to grammar exercises, again, you are not learning to communicate. You are learning how to, do well at tests. Again, no amount of such practice will allow you to speak English and to use grammar in real life scenario. You need something else. It's like learning to play piano without playing piano, just learning through the notes. You will know the notes, you can even specialize in it, but you will not play the piano from learning it by writing and reading the notes. Number 4, reading texts and answering questions. Again, it is great for taking a test, but it has nothing to do with any communication. You are simply learning to read in English, which is okay if this is what you want. Reading is great for growing your vocab, but if you do not use this vocab in a conversation, this is all you're going to get. Vocab that you might remember, but you cannot use. Number 5, conversational classes. Conversational classes are awesome, but only if they are linked to specific outcome and your individual stage of personal development. If you want to have success with conversational classes, they need to be focused on your target for that particular week of learning and focus entirely on developing that specific skill that you are set to learn for that particular week. Otherwise, you are talking about everything and nothing. And the outcome is that you have little practice in overall language, which will not translate into your own skill development. The way that you need to begin to look at communication is that it consists of multiple smaller skills that need to be learned in the correct order by mastering each one in the right time. General conversation doesn't serve this purpose, and it's only great when you already speak English and you would love to develop it further. Otherwise, it is just time spent with very little to no result in your communication development. There is one other danger here. Many courses offer ability to have one-to-one meetings and group sessions for you to join at any time. As much as it sounds great, and it's always better to have a conversation than not to have one, in most cases, it is actually not good for you. The teachers do not know your individual needs, and they don't know what your personal development looks like. And mostly, they are not basing their conversation on any system. So you do go to these classes and you spend your time, but as it is not targeted to you and not skill-based, you end up having a nice conversation with no specific outcome for you. After quite a few of these, you notice that there is very little result for you, and you begin to doubt yourself and your abilities to learn the language itself. And this is simply not true. And here comes the next point: support and supervision. Standalone programs are great because you can adjust learning to your daily life. So many people fall into a trap of believing that just going through the program will give them results in communication. Unfortunately, if you have no possibility of supervision or support, then you have no chance to correct your mistakes and to practice the way that will allow you to communicate in the future. The better the support system within the course, the higher the possibility that you will succeed. So always, but always make sure that there is somebody or somebodies on the other side to help you out when you need it and to keep you on the right course. So these are pretty much the major points of what to look out for when you are wanting to learn to speak English and you are deciding on the best way to do it. If you want to know more on effective ways of learning, how to speak and do it well and fast, join me at one of my webinars and we will talk a lot about exactly this subject. I'm hoping to see you soon. Let me know if that's useful by giving thumbs up, press this like button, make sure to comment and make sure to subscribe to get notifications from us about upcoming films. See you at the webinar. Take care, guys.